Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Dream Team Professor podcast. Doing this episode as a live stream, just because the turnaround between the final game of match day 1 and then the deadline for match day 2 today is so short. So it gives a bit more time for me to engage with you guys, but also the longer I take to edit, the less time you get to listen to it. So I thought it'd be easier to put this out as a live. So good morning to everyone that is listening. What we're going to do is we're going to just go through quite briefly the players and the teams that I think look best to target for match day 2. I'm going to do a little talk on boosters. As you probably know, my initial booster of the goal bonus did not go well at all for match day 1. So maybe I can give you a bit of advice, or maybe you just wouldn't want to take it. And then captaincy, going to talk through my favorite captain picks, and then just round it off with a quick look at how my team's getting on and my initial plans for transfers. Please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, but otherwise we'll just get straight into the episode. So just got my fixture ticker here, obviously removed match day 1 and we'll look only at match day 2. Apologies that this is just going to be notes. It's not going to be as detailed as my usual top players to target in the sort of Premier League format, just because of time. You want to get this content as quickly as possible before the deadline, which is today at 1 p.m. So maybe just lock your team in now, set something up so that you don't end up missing transfers, your captaincy while you're at work or whatever you're doing. So I feel like it's a weird deadline to have one at 1 p.m. On a Wednesday. So just lock something in, even if it's just a rough team. And then if you remember nearer the time, you can change it then. We're going to start off with Germany first. So I'm basically going to just say whether I think it's worth targeting them, and if so, who I'd look at. So Germany obviously started really strong against Scotland, and I think they're going to carry it on. They've got Hungary next, and then they've got Switzerland in that final game. And obviously Switzerland have Scotland to play. If Switzerland beat Scotland, they're going to be on 6 points as well if Germany wins. So they potentially still are going to have things to play for, depending on how this match day 2 goes. So I still think they look solid to go for. Musiala, 4.5 million. I kind of wish I started off with him now instead of Gundogan. Saved the 0.5. I thought Gundogan looked good for pens, but obviously didn't end up taking that pen because he was too injured. But I'm going to try and sort of counter that, and I think I am probably going to bring Musiala into my team. He looked decent for bonus from ffstuff.co.uk's player performance marks in qualifying. I think he averaged like 7.7 player performance marks. So yeah, I think he looks decent for bonus, and I think he's going to start again. So I like Musiala as an option. I also like Wirtz on the other side. I think he looked really, really good as well. Took, I think, 3 shots in that match. I think it was just the one on target that was the goal, but willing to shoot from outside the box. So it could be a decent one for if you are looking to play goal bonus. But I kind of just feel like Musiala's, after having a goal bonus go wrong, I feel like bonus feels more reliable than goal scorers at the moment. So I'm opting for Musiala over Wirtz, but I think they're both really good options. And then Kai Havertz, maybe he comes into the fold. Obviously, Mbappe, I feel like Mbappe is going to miss the Netherlands game. So you could have a striker spot opening up. Maybe you want to go for Havertz, but I still think you've still got the 3 of Kane, Lukaku, Ronaldo that can occupy those front spots. And I feel like the gap with the midfielders isn't so big. So I feel like I still prefer Musiala and Wirtz over Havertz. There is a chance that maybe he carries on taking penalties after scoring that one because Gundogan was injured. So that is an option. But yeah, personally, I'm leaning towards Musiala and Wirtz a little bit more. Defense still fine to target. Hungary, Switzerland, I think there's going to be clean sheets, at least one of those 2 as well. So yeah, if you wanted to add another one, if you're on Mittelstat, you could add a second defender, but they start to get a little bit pricey above Mittelstat. Scotland, it's a straight no. Sorry, we're not targeting any Scotland players. Hungary, so they face Germany, so it's their toughest fixture. Szoboszlai is in my team. I think he's quite popular. I think he's still a fine hold for this one. I understand if you want to swap him for someone that's a bit more attacking or has a better fixture, if the rest of your team's looking fine, but I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping hold of Szoboszlai for this one. He's still on all set pieces. Um, Literally all set pieces, taken from the halfway line, corners, free kicks, penalties. So yeah, I'm pretty set. I'm gonna keep Szoboszlai. We knew this fixture was coming when we put him in, and I put him in with a view of keeping him for the whole group stage. So yeah, I think Szoboszlai fine to hold, but I wouldn't go any more. And then Switzerland's a tough one because obviously Scotland did poor in their first match, and Switzerland done well. But the question is, who do you actually target? Because although they looked really good as a team, I didn't really see anyone that I massively want to bring in. So obviously I had Shaqiri, didn't play. The manager sort of come out, and I'm paraphrasing, but he kind of said there's a time and a place for Shaqiri, and he didn't think the first match was that time. But he said he could still be involved in the tournament. But for me, he's likely a sell. He's the last game today, so 8 p.m. I think it is. So it's unlikely that we're going to get any leaks, I think, on whether Shaqiri starts. So I'd be moving him on unless there's some sort of concrete news that he is playing. Dua, and I think it was Vargas, or Vargas played well in that one. Dua obviously got the goal. And then you had Real and Bolo scored the other goal. I just feel like you're not going to choose them strikers. I know the Scotland fixture looks good, but I just don't think you're going to choose them over some of the big boys. So I'm going to pass on those. If I did go for one of their players, I'd probably prefer an Akanji or a Fabian Schär, but they're not even that cheap potentially if I just pull up their prices. But I'm sure Akanji was possibly 3.5. Akanji was 3.5 and Fabian Schär was 3 million. So like, I don't think that's even particularly cheap. And then you've got them in your team for the Germany game the next week. So Switzerland, probably a pass. Spain, yes, they looked really good. One of the better teams so far. Difficult fixture though, Italy. Nice match day 3 fixture. You kind of don't know whether or not there's going to be stuff to play for. I imagine there will be, but they've got a lot of depth as well. So the only person I really, really like the look of was Yamal on the right-hand side. Really nice assist. Really, really attacking down that right-hand side. Also had a big chance that he missed as well. But overall, I thought he looked brilliant. But I'm not that keen to bring in ahead of Italy. Maybe we see where we're at for the Albania match and then make a decision there. Croatia, I would want to target Albania. Vardiol playing left back, I think that was better than having him at left centre back where we thought he'd be. They have got the best clean sheet odds as well for Albania, but so did Italy. I know it was a big mistake, but yeah, I do feel like the teams that we thought would be the best to target in this tournament so far, all of the, let's say, lesser teams or less favoured teams have put up a good performance. There hasn't been really any teams that have been absolutely whipped, maybe apart from Scotland, but they did have a red card. So yeah, it's a tough one. Maybe Vardiol. You had Sotalo, who got 11 player performance marks, which was one off of maximum bonus. Again, 4 million. I think the other one's 3 million. So I've got my eye on like Gahey for England at 3 million. I feel like that feels better value to me. And then, of course, if you do bring him in, you've got the Italy game afterwards, which is not ideal. So again, maybe Vardiol, but I'm not massively keen. Italy, I don't think you want to bring more in for Spain. I think there's an argument you might want to hold your players. I've got DeMarco, and I'm not. I feel like I probably will move him out, but I don't think like it's a urgent move out. He got 4 points, playing really, really high up on the left wing. I guess he could get an attack in return, but I don't feel that confident on the clean sheet. And then Albania, it's a straight no. I won't be bringing in any Albania players with Croatia and Spain up next. On to Group C. Slovenia, probably a no. Serbia up next, and Serbia were tough for the England game. And then the only person I'd probably look at was maybe Sesko. I did like how he was shooting on sight, hit the post, but it would be a massive punt to go for him ahead of one of the big strikers. Denmark, again, I feel like this is similar to Hungary. So they're playing their hardest match, like Hungary playing Germany, Denmark playing England. And I feel like it's quite comparable to Szoboszlai and the Ericsson scenario. Both done well, both hit bonus, both on all set pieces. I feel like I'd hold Ericsson as well as I'd hold Szoboszlai. So I'd keep Ericsson if I had him, but I'm not going to be bringing in more Denmark players ahead of England. Serbia, probably a no. You'd be punting if you wanted to go for Mitrovic or Vlahovic, but not for me. And then England, we have got a few players for England that we'd probably want to target. So it is the toughest looking fixture we've had in the group. I still think the odds are obviously the worst clean sheet odds out of all of the fixtures, but they still look okay. I still think we could get a clean sheet in this one. Trent, I think he looked good in the first match, or fine. It was okay. Looked all right for bonus points, and obviously covers that clean sheet if you do get it at 5 million. Or Gahey at 3 million. I think he looks really, really good value. Someone that I am interested in. He's not got the sort of upside for attacking returns or anything, but for £3 million into the England defence, I just think that's really, really good value. When we were looking at enablers at 2.5 at like Ukraine and other lesser teams, and I feel like 3 million to get a centre back for England looks good. Could obviously get rotated. The same with Trent in that third fixture if we do win. The only thing I feel like a little bit with Gahey is maybe that if Luke Shaw comes back in for maybe the third match, they might want to see how that partnership works. But yeah, not entirely sure with match day 3 how that goes, but I think Trent and Gahey probably the two defenders that I would be looking at. And then Bellingham, 6 million was really, really impressive. Just the only thing with my team is it is a price point where it's not that easy just to fit back in your team. Like I feel like I've made a mistake not having Musiala. 4.5, it's easy enough to sort of slot back in, but 6 million does take a bit of thinking about. But if you can get there, I would still do it. I've put Saka down, but again, I don't think Saka's worth the 0.5 more than Jude Bellingham. So I'd just go Bellingham in that scenario. And then Harry Kane, obviously really quiet in that first match, hit the crossbar. But you can't write him off, I don't think. I still think he looks decent for Denmark and then Slovenia in that final group game. I still think he plays, even if we're through. I think we just want to win the group. Group D, Netherlands. It would be a no. The only thing that's making me think that maybe it could be a bit better is the likelihood that Mbappe could be out. Might give him a little bit of a confidence boost and obviously makes France a bit worse. But if you did have maybe defenders from Holland or Netherlands, there might not be a terrible hold. But I feel like there would be much, much better teams you could target this week. You could punt Gakpo, who done well for bonus, but again, it's a much tougher opposition. So I'd probably wait. The Austria fixture, although they're not any pushovers either. France. So Netherlands did give up quite a lot of chances. I'd be fancying this one if I still had Mbappe, but I'm feeling like I'm going to move Mbappe on with the news of his broken nose. There isn't any sort of concrete will he, won't he play, I don't think, at the moment. But I just don't want to. I've had a bad start and I don't want to take any chances on a player not playing. I've already had that with Shaqiri. And when you've got, in my case, Ronaldo that could just step in, or one of the other premiums, I think you just do that. Griezmann, Dembele didn't really do that well, but it's not to say that they won't do well in this one. Griezmann probably goes on to penalties if Mbappe's not there, but he is expensive. I think he's 6.5. Griezmann 6.5. And I think he only got 2 points as well, so not great. You could go for Thuram, maybe Dembele, but again, it's not the best fixture. So yeah, I'd probably pass. Defensively, they did keep a clean sheet, looked all right. We had Hernandez, who we thought probably was going to miss the first game, but he played and got 10 points, done really well. I still don't think I'd fancy Hernandez over a Trent at this point. Poland, no, for me. And then Austria. You got Sabitzer, who I really have liked the look of, and also Baumgartner. But I feel like they come at like a specific price. So Sabitzer's 3 million. Baumgartner's 2.5, and I feel like I would only bring them in if I needed someone for that price point. So, like, if you can get to Musiala like I can, I'm just going to go there. I'm not going to go Sabitzer or Baumgartner over them, but I do think they look like decent options, and I think they've done all right against France from what I saw. So, yeah, might be worth taking a punt, but in my position, I feel like I just need to catch up and not take too many risks at the minute. He did get 4 goals in qualifying. Sabitzer takes all pens, all set pieces, took 4 corners against France and almost set up Baumgartner. And Baumgartner got 3 goals in qualifying. Both of these players got 2 assists as well. So differentials, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Group E, this is a sore one. So I thought Ukraine would be a really good team to start off with, and they obviously had that poor result against Romania. But I wouldn't panic. I feel like if you've sort of committed to Ukraine, maybe at the back, or you've gone for a Sigankov, or who was the other guy, Sudakov, in midfield, I feel like you'd still see it out. You looked at these two fixtures and thought they looked decent, so I'd probably see it out. The only one I'd be really worried about would be Lunin, because he did have a really bad performance. And their other keeper, is it Trubin? It was sort of a toss-up who was going to start out of the two of them. So, yeah, I don't know how ruthless the manager is at Ukraine, but there could be potential that they just go back to the other keeper on that one. But yeah, I'd de-risk if I had maybe a full block of Ukraine. Maybe I'd move a few off, but other than that, I wouldn't panic too much. And Slovakia, probably not, despite their decent performance. And then Belgium, this was a tough one. So Doku, despite giving away that big chance and costing them a goal, I thought looked good in the game. And I'd still consider choosing him. And then Lukaku, 2 disallowed goals. I know people give him a lot of stick, but I thought he was unlucky. I feel like he could have come away with a goal or two in that one. So I'm happy to hold. And if you didn't have him and you're selling Mbappe, I still probably would target him as well. He's got Doku, KDB putting in good crosses for him. So, yeah, I think he will still do well. KDB would be a differential, but it's so expensive for what you get. But it is nice fixtures still. Not many have got nice 2 fixtures left. And Belgium have still got Romania and Ukraine to play. So I feel they look good for the next 2 fixtures. And obviously, where they didn't get the result they wanted, they've still got all to play for in the next 2. So I quite like the look of Belgium. Romania, despite the decent result, it's still a no from me. I wouldn't be targeting any of their players. And then Portugal, obviously played last night. Tough against Czech Republic. I thought they looked all right, to be fair. Bit of a weird lineup. Wasn't expecting them to have sort of all 3 of the fullback/wing backs starting. But overall, a little bit disappointed. So I had Cancelo and De Bruyne, Cancelo and Fernandez. Both lost their bonus points later on. So not the result I wanted, but I was kind of relieved because I didn't have Ronaldo. But I think they look good. Turkey, Georgia, 2 good fixtures still to come. So I think the defense looks fine. I'm not panicked on Cancelo. And then I think Ronaldo still looks a decent one to target. Like, I feel like it's questionable whether or not they're a better team without him still. It looked like every time anyone got the ball, they were trying to look for Ronaldo, which I don't think gets the best football out of them. But if you were a Ronaldo owner, you'd love that. As a Ronaldo non-owner, them always constantly looking for him was quite worrying for me. And he did come quite close. 3 shots on target, I think, in this game. So I'd still be targeting Ronaldo. Bruno, gone down a little bit in my thinking. Vitinha was taking corners, which Bruno Fernandes was taking the whole way through qualifying. And I thought that made him a real nice threat with Ronaldo in the box. But Vitinha was taking them. And he had some real poor deliveries as well. So maybe I'm biased just because I was a bit torn up that he was taking them over my player. But I did think those corners looked poor. But he had a really, really good match, actually, outside of those corners, coming with 8 points and 11 player performance marks. So almost picked up maximum bonus. How much he comes in at 3 million as well. So a little bit of a differential, but I probably won't go there. But I still think Portugal will be good to target. Czech Republic, no. I'd like to say Souček, or maybe Patrick Schick could have been a differential, but he didn't complete the whole match. Looked a bit rusty, despite it being Georgia next. I think I'd just go elsewhere. Georgia, no, but Kvaratskhelia, 1 player performance marks off of maximum bonus. You could punt it if you were feeling lucky for the Czechia game, but then you've got Portugal afterwards, so I probably wouldn't bother. And despite how brilliant that Turkey-Georgia match was and how good Turkey looked, I probably wouldn't go for them either. Çalhanoğlu looked okay, but just the 3 points, no bonus. And Artur Güler with a great goal. Yeah, really, really nice finish and a great performance, 13 points. But Portugal up next, I just don't think you do it. So, yeah, let me know if you agree, disagree in the comments with any of those. I'll quickly just say hello to a few people in the chat. So we've got Luke Sinclair in there. Good morning. Oh, Nergigatius. Sorry if I've messed that up, but good morning. Jess Bailey, Owen Higgins, Jonathan Bennett, NC, NFFC Tom, Adam Towson, Jack Bissell, Team Scosia, and King Chubb. So good morning all. I'm going to push through this as a normal pod, and I'll try and get to a few questions at the end. But yeah, let us know if you're watching in the chat. Please do leave a like on the video. Right, we'll come on to, I think it's boosters up next. So, like I said, paid goal bonus, absolute flop for me. Feel like it was pretty unlucky. Like, in what scenario would you think really that Mbappe, Kane, Lukaku, and even Ronaldo wouldn't score? I felt like this first round of fixtures looked a really good one for goals, to be honest. And match day 2 probably doesn't look as good. A lot of teams are playing their hardest fixture in match 2. So, yeah, it's a tough one to go with. Personally, from my point of view, I feel a little bit like it'll be sod's law that the goal bonus will go off in this game week, and I would potentially consider it because are the strikers going to be this quiet again? The only one player in the top 5 odds for anytime goal scorer that actually scored this game week was Kai Havertz. Depay was up there, didn't score. Fulkrug was actually up there, but it's based on if they were to start. So he did a come over goal, but yeah, overall, all the big hitters not scoring. Germany, England, Belgium, Portugal, you'd probably say look best for goal scoring this week. But do you want to play it with Mbappe? But you could be waiting. So you might say, I want to play it with Mbappe, but we don't really know how long till he's back. And on Mbappe, like I don't think he's going to play this Netherlands game. And if they do win it, is he going to play Austria? Because they're probably going to be through. I don't think he will. So I'm sort of thinking that he'll probably be back for the knockouts now, personally. 12th man with no Mbappe. My idea this week would have been to get Ronaldo in my team and still have Kane, Mbappe, Lukaku, but that's out the window now to have 4 premiums. But there are a few scenarios I've looked at where I kind of can't fit Bellingham into my team, and I do think maybe he could be a 12th man, but it doesn't feel ideal. I kind of want my 12th man to be like penalty taker, set pieces, the lot. But yeah, maybe I'm just looking for the ideal, and someone like Bellingham could still be good with their bonus points. KDB, Doku, I don't mind them as a 12th man. And obviously, we say Saka is probably overpriced at 6.5 million. But if there's a player you think's overpriced, but still could do well, maybe that is a chance to use a 12th man. But yeah, I don't love any of it actually for 12th man. Max Captain is one that I quite like the look of, but I feel like I like the look of it this week because where I've had a slow start, I feel like to now the captain at least this week could sort of compensate for the poor week I've had the week before. Might not be the right sort of thinking, but I do quite like the look of it. And then we have got sort of Harry Kane with Denmark is an okay fixture. We've also got Ronaldo Turkey, who I'd probably say Ronaldo probably looked the best captain for this Turkey match. And then obviously Lukaku Romania could be okay. So if you're having a hard time choosing the captain there, I don't think it looks a terrible week to play max captain. But yeah, just my initial thoughts is I just feel like this goal bonus probably will go off this week as a typical punishment for getting it so badly wrong last week. Yeah, let us know what you're thinking with your boosters, but I can't imagine many people are sticking to their initial sort of booster strategy now that we've had the quiet week we've had, and then we've also now got the Mbappe injury. So interested to know if your sort of planning has changed because of this Mbappe injury and your boosters. Right, on to captaincy. So currently, I think that Ronaldo is the best captain for this game week. So against Turkey, I know I did say I don't know if they're better or worse without him, but in terms of captaincy, they were constantly just trying to find Ronaldo. And I feel like it might have made them worse, but if I was to have a player in my team, I want everyone trying to find him. I don't really care how Portugal get on, as long as if I've got the captain, he's scoring. 3 shots on target. Probably looked the most dangerous out of the big hitters, or at least the busiest out of the big hitters this week. 5 shots in total, 3 on target, hit the post. You could say maybe Lukaku was a bit more dangerous, but yeah, it's close between the two. But I think this Turkey fixture is probably the best. I'm looking at Lukaku, probably at second, but Romania did defend really well. They defended deep, and I feel they could get up for the sort of physical battle with Lukaku. Whereas I think Turkey may give it a go and sort of leave Ronaldo in a bit of space at times, potentially. So it's just me trying to put a story in my head of why I might want to choose Ronaldo, but currently that's where I'm leaning. I do think Lukaku could still be really, really good with the KDB service and Doku, but yeah, I kind of feel like Ronaldo's a bit of a better option. And then Kane. So I went Kane as my captain this week, and he was by far the most quiet out of all the big hitters. A bit less confident in Kane, just because if you look at Ronaldo and you look at Lukaku this week, it didn't happen for them. But I would say that Belgium and Portugal probably looked like a more functional attack, and looked a bit more dangerous than how Harry Kane looked. Harry Kane didn't really link up with our guys in that match. I do think it'll be fine. I think we'll solve it, but just based on the last few games, I do think that Lukaku and Ronaldo looked a bit better than Kane. So maybe it's a case that England might start to come into their own a bit later in the tournament. Can always be dangerous, can always be clinical. But I'd just say, because of the lack of involvement, I'd probably put Kane below Ronaldo and Lukaku this week. A few differential captains. Again, I won't be choosing these. I think I'm going to... I can't remember what the odds, what the percentages were, but basically where there's so many good captaincy options, I think the highest captaincy pick was something like 25%, I want to say. I'm just going to look on FF Stuff now, ffstuff.co.uk. You can go on the Euros tab and look at the percentage captained. Mbappe was 27%, Kane was 26%, and Ronaldo was 8.6%. So there's so many good options. I don't think you really need to go for a big differential, because 27% for the highest is still pretty low. But if you did want to go there, Havertz, potentially, Musiala and Wirtz all look like decent options. But I feel like they're more likely to get subbed, all three of them, than Ronaldo, Lukaku, and Kane. Bellingham, done really well for bonus. Obviously grabbed his goal as well. He could be a differential. And then you've got Doku, KDB, who typically have scored well in a normal Dream Team game. And I think they looked okay, but I wouldn't go outside the top 3, to be honest with you, personally. Right, quick sip of my coffee, and then it's on to my latest team update. Right, so 58 points for the game week. It's been a shocker. 98.2k overall. That's a high one. I don't even know how many teams are playing. I think it was 300,000 in the normal Dream Team game, but I don't know about this one. I played my goal bonus booster. I say played. You won't see any result of it because there was absolutely no goals in this team. So played / wasted the goal booster, or goal bonus booster. Yeah, bit gutted about this one. A lot of people ask me, is it over if we didn't nail the goal bonus? I don't think it's over. But I think if you're in a lot of the really competitive mini leagues that I'm in as well, and obviously in terms of overall leaderboard, I kind of feel like it was bad enough that they're not on anymore, to be fair. I don't want to be doom and gloom. I think it could still end up with an okay rank, but yeah, I don't think there's going to be many weeks like this where none of the big hitters are scoring. Dubravka in goal, 9 points, ended up as my second highest scorer for the week. So that just about summarizes it. Fair play, though, to the £1.5 million man at the back. Mittelstadt, 3 points. Happy to keep for Hungary. DeMarco, 4 points. I feel like he was okay. Obviously gave away the mistake that cost the clean sheet, but 4 points is an all right return, and I wouldn't be too bothered about keeping him. Cancelo 2 points. I thought this was disappointing. Really, lost his bonus point. I felt like the system they played was a little bit different to usual, but maybe that contributed to it. Bruno Fernandes 3 points. I'm a bit disappointed about that one because him not taking sort of the set pieces and corners. I really liked him for that. I thought like he was going to be putting the balls into Ronaldo like he was in qualifying, but Vitinha come along and ruined it all. Hopefully he can do all right. Still had an okay game, but the fact of seeing Bruno Fernandes sitting back for corners, really wound me up a little bit. So Boswell 10 points, done exactly what we wanted him to do, got an assist, bonus points. Shaqiri, I'm going to have to wait for some late news today, if there is any, but I'm going to try and make a plan with him and without him, but it's more likely going to be without him. Gundogan 7 points, which was fine. I think if there wasn't the whole thing of we thought he was going to get a penalty and then he didn't take it, I feel like I would have been happy with 7 points. Kane, captain 8, Mbappe 8, but obviously a broken nose. And then Lukaku with 4, but yeah, it could have been a different story with Lukaku as well. So where are we at the minute? So DeMarco, I'm looking at probably taking him out. Shaqiri, unless we hear otherwise, I'll be taking him out, I think. And then Mbappe, I'm not willing to sort of wait around and will he, won't he start? I've fallen behind. I've had a bad week. I just need to get points on the board. So I don't think I can afford to mess around with Shaqiri and Mbappe and hope they play. Just need to get someone in that does play. So I think it's going to be DeMarco, Shaqiri and Mbappe out this week. Who am I looking at? So Mbappe to Ronaldo, no fault needed really with that one. And I'm happy to distribute the other funds. So there's like a 1.5 price difference between the two. Don't mind spreading the money because if Mbappe does magically come back, I can just 12th man him in Matchday 3 if budget's a problem. Or if not, we get the wild card after Matchday 3. Unlimited transfers. So I don't think that's a problem. I'll just spend that extra 1.5 and spread it out, get Mbappe back on the wild card or as my 12th man. That gives me, so bringing Ronaldo in from Mbappe gives me 8 million for the DeMarco and the Shaqiri slots. I like Gahey at 3 million. I think there's a decent chance we keep a clean sheet against Denmark. He doesn't really get any, I don't think he's really going to get any other points outside of that. I think you'd have to be really lucky to get an attack in return from Gahey. Maybe got bonus. Did he hit? No, didn't quite hit bonus in that match. How many player performance marks did he get? 4. So he was close to getting 1 bonus point. So you might get a bit of that for blocks, interceptions, passing. But overall, you're going for the clean sheet if you go Gahey. But I think at 3 million, that gives me a nice bit of money to spend in midfield. It'll give me 5 million for a replacement for Shaqiri. So I've narrowed that down to probably Doku at 5 million. I think he could link up well with Lukaku. The only thing I do think maybe Romania do sit quite deep. Maybe he won't get as many chances to sort of get his dribbles going. But then it's between Musiala and Wirtz at 4.5. And I mentioned I prefer Musiala myself. The only other option I could do is, I don't know what you think of this one. I know he splits opinion, but I could do an England double up in defence and go Gahey and Trent. So it would be Mbappe to Ronaldo, Shaqiri and DeMarco to Gahey and Trent. So it'd be double England backline, which might be a little bit of a differential. But then Trent got subbed off fairly early in the game. I feel like that could happen again. And we know how easy these clean sheet wipeouts happen if you're relying on clean sheets. We've seen so many long range goals and teams that aren't expected to scoring. So, and Denmark can easily score. They're a very good team. So don't love that one. And the only other thing as well is if England do get the win and decide to rotate, I do think Trent could be one that makes way, and I do think Gahey could make way for a dunk, for example. So not ideal for match day 3. I would love to have Bellingham in the team, I'm just not sure how I can make that work with bringing Ronaldo in. So I'd have to take Mbappe out for Ronaldo. Sorry, I'm just doing this on my screen at the minute. So I'd take Mbappe out for Ronaldo. I'd still take Shaqiri and DeMarco out. If I was to bring in Jude Bellingham, it would only give me £2 million for a defender, which, I mean, I could get like a Matvienko, Hanko. There are a few £2 million options, but I don't love it. And I think Gahey's probably more likely to get the clean sheet. And is the difference in points going to be that big between Bellingham and Musiala? I'm not so sure. So I feel like I'm leaning towards the Gahey, Musiala, Ronaldo link up potentially. And captaincy's leaning Ronaldo. But obviously, getting near the deadline, we'll get a bit more, probably some news coming out and stuff like that. So I'll make a decision bit nearer the time. In terms of boosters, I'm not sure. This has thrown me. Mbappe being out and having that bad week, I don't think it's terrible just to not use it. I'd consider Bellingham as a 12th man, seeing as I can't fit him in. So if I did have Gahey, Musiala, Ronaldo, I could still get Bellingham in there, but I'm not sure it's the best use of it. I think the fixtures are probably better in Matchday 3, although we don't know who still has things to play for. And then I think the round of 16 fixtures will still be okay as well, because there will be a lot of third place teams going through. So yeah, undecided on 12th man. Max captain possibility. I will have good players in my team with good fixtures still for this week. And maybe nailing the captaincy, getting it 100% correct with the max captain could boost me back up a little bit. But yeah, I'm not loving either of them. Maybe I'm a little bit traumatized from last week's bonus goal bonus booster, but yeah, not sure on the boosters at the minute. Again, I've got a backup plan, I guess, if Shaqiri does end up starting. I could potentially do Gahey, Bellingham and Ronaldo, but it would mean losing Szoboszlai, which I don't love it, because I'll be getting Shaqiri in for Scotland and losing Szoboszlai for Germany, which looks good. But then Szoboszlai has Scotland the week after, and Hungary probably will still have stuff to play for. So I think I'm happy just keeping Szoboszlai, to be honest, at the moment. Right, that's pretty much everything. But I'll quickly get on the chat, see what a few of your questions are, see if I can help you out. I'm just morning to a few more. So we've got Cardamondo, we've got Graham, good morning, and Jason in the chat. Nathan, morning, mate. Niall, Adam Towson, AB, and Dream Team champion Jeff is in the chat as well. Good morning. Right, let's go back to the beginning, see where we're at. Luke, morning lads. Dubravka, Cancelo, Trent, Middlestat, Szoboszlai, Doku, Gundogan, Rodri, Ronaldo, Mbappe, Lukaku. Looking at putting Havertz, Musiala, Bellingham. Any other ideas? So obviously Havertz for Mbappe, Musiala and Bellingham. Who would? I didn't think Rodri was that. He went at his normal standards, was he? Probably lucky to not get sent off, and now he's got the tough game against Spain. So I wouldn't mind taking Rodri out potentially. I find it hard to work out what budget you've got where, just looking at it. But I like all of those picks to bring in. If it works for budget and you can get all three of them in, then yeah, you're losing a bit of money out of Mbappe, so you might be able to afford that there. You haven't got Kane. But I think Bellingham's okay if you haven't got Kane. I'd go with that, mate. I think that looks fine, to be honest with you. All got decent fixtures. Not massively keen on Havertz, but if Havertz lets you get Bellingham and you've already got quite a few big hitters, I don't mind that at all. Here you go. Looking at taking out Gundogan, Mbappe, Rodri for those players, but that's dependent on Mbappe. Have I heard anything else? I haven't. Let me just quickly have a look on Twitter just in case things move fast. Maybe there's something else come out. but I just don't see why they'd risk him. I think he's going to go through. Um, just looking, one of the first ones that come up is FPL Olympian, and he says 15 minutes ago, Mbappe expected to miss match day 2 according to French media. So yeah, I think move Mbappe on. I think there's good enough options just to do it. I don't love taking Mbappe and Gundogan out. I'm going to keep Gundogan. I think he actually had a really good game, but if it's to get Musiala, then yeah, I think he's a better pick. But no, I think that looks fine. Have I heard anything else? Because he wants to use goal boost. I'd still do it. I'd probably still do it. I mean, you can wait to match day 3 if you want. I think the fixtures look a bit better. Might be a few more question marks over who gets rotated and stuff like that. But no, I think go for it, mate. Jess, I goal bonused and my team scored 1 goal. Well, 1 goal more than my team, Jess. So you celebrate that goal. Owen Higgins, morning. Considering max cap this week with all the teams playing hardest group games. Yeah, that's decent thinking. I think that's kind of a little bit why I'm considering it. I mean, like I said, that I feel like I'm chasing a little bit, so it'd do us a favour now to at least nail the captaincy. And we can't have them all blank again, can we? So yeah, surely one of the big hitters is going to go off this week, and it'd be nice to catch that one with the captaincy. I think that could help us catch up. I quite like it. I guess anything on max captain, like if there is rotation and stuff like that in match day 3, then also to get the captaincy right might counterbalance it. But yeah, I like it. I like max captain for this week. Initially was thinking 12th man, but probably leaning more towards that. Jonathan was annoyed his keeper Moldovan didn't play for Romania. He's 1.5. Do you think I should keep him and focus on taking out Mbappe, Szoboszlai, and maybe Orban wants to use goal booster? It's hard without seeing the rest of your team, but I'd go to Bravka. I know he's done well this week, but I was kind of thinking that nothing this week, and then maybe something against Ukraine and Romania. Obviously, Ukraine didn't score. Romania did, but they're not the most attacking team. I still probably would try and get some points from your keeper and just go to Dubravka. I think that Szoboszlai is an okay hold unless you really need that money. NC goal booster, a good idea for game week 2. Like I said, like initially the reason I used it in match day 1 was because I thought the fixtures were better in match day 1, but the fixtures were good and nobody scored, so I kind of feel like anything can happen now, really. But I do think the fixtures look okay. There is that fault that maybe you want to have goal booster for a week with Mbappe, but I don't think you want to wait the whole tournament waiting for Mbappe, waiting for the perfect moment. I do think the group stages is still the time to get the high scoring games, I think. So yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, maybe you could wait for the round of 16 potentially, because you get a reset and you could build the team around who you think are the goal scorers, maybe. But you're also going to want to build your team around who you think's going to progress to the next round. So it could be a bit of a split, but I don't mind it. I think it'll be typical that game week 2 will be the one that throws up a load of goals where people are saying it's the hardest fixture. So yeah, go for it, mate. Let us know how it goes. NFFC Tom, thinking about using it in game week 3 as fixtures look a bit better. Still considering it today, but not sure with Mbappe out. Yeah, I kind of I guess I've covered that in the other ones. It's just that game week 3, the fixtures look better, but we just don't know. I mean, do we think like a Kane would be rotated even if we win both matches? I still think we'll play him. I can't remember what tournament it was, but wasn't there a tournament where one of the recent ones, I think that England, we wanted to actually like lose the game, or it was better for us to lose the game to get a better fixture in the round of 16. I feel like it was to do with Belgium in the end. It might have been to avoid Belgium, but we still went full strength and tried to win the group anyway. So yeah, it's a tough one. NC, I think I'm the only one keeping Mbappe. 4 days rest. Reckon he's going to start. It's hard though, like 4 days rest, but he rest a broken nose. It's like, I guess there's so many different levels of how badly broken a nose are, and like it's probably not going to take much to just give it a knock or whatever and set it off again. I will see him. We'll definitely will see him again fairly soon, I reckon, wearing his mask, but it just feels a little bit of a risk. Maybe you could 12th man it. Maybe you could 12th man it, get all 4, and you got a bit of a backup. But again, it does feel a waste if he doesn't play. It's tough. How many subs are we allowed with Matchday 2? NC's got it. Yeah, free subs. Make sure you get them done. So make your transfers early. You can reverse them if you change your mind or whatever, but just get your transfers locked in, get your captain done. And if you want a booster, just set it ready. And then if you remember nearer the deadline, 1 o'clock, you can make a change or whatever, but you'll be gutted if you don't make any changes or you miss a deadline when there's only literally like 7 match days this tournament. Jack, most people are thinking Lukaku captain, very tempted, but find it hard to go against Kane just because it's Kane. Yeah, I went Kane last week and I thought he'd do well. Not very involved, but like you say, it's Kane. Like, just get a bad game. You wouldn't bet against him scoring against Denmark. Did he score when we played Denmark last? Can't remember. But yeah, like you say, it's Kane. Head to head, last match. Last match, 2021. 2-1 win England. Harry Kane, extra time. 2 matches before that, though. Denmark 1-0. Denmark, England 0-0. 1-0 England back in 2014. No, that was a while ago. Daniel Sturridge scoring in that one. Yeah, I think Kane, decent option still. I'm going to go Ronaldo, personally, I think. NC, though, good point. Lukaku captain, could have had 2 goals, almost 3. I mean, we've got 3 different captains here. Maybe that's shouting out for Max captain. Ronaldo or Havertz? I think Ronaldo. I love Havertz, but it's Ronaldo. Team Escosia, don't blame me for not even glancing over Scotland. Worst I've seen us play in 37 years. And I witnessed us pioneer 4-6-0 away to Czech Republic. Secretly thinking Robbo could come good, though. Unlucky, mate. Must have been a horrible watch. But yeah, I'm not fancying any of your players. Seeing the rest of that group didn't look bad either. So yeah, I think it could end up being a painful one. NC doesn't think that Trent starts the next game. Gallagher will come in to tighten things up against Denmark. Maybe. I mean, it could make sense. It's the toughest fixture. They've got a decent midfield as well, but I feel like it's showing defeat already. Like, if you built all this way up to the tournament and playing Trent in midfield, then you're going to pull the plug like 2 games in. I'm not sure. Foden drops the bench and Gordon starts, in your opinion? I mean, that game was crying out for that move, I do think, but I don't know whether he'll do it from the start or give Foden another chance. I think we'll be unchanged. I think he's going to give it another go. Swap Mbappe out and use him as 12th man in case he plays. It's up to you. I mean, he did have decent results against Netherlands in the last 2, so scored twice in both the last 2 fixtures against Holland. But I don't think you can underestimate as well with Mbappe, like, probably how difficult it is to play in one of these masks. We've got bad memories of Kane, I feel like, done quite well in the mask, but I remember Son, I think it was last season, complaining he had a bad spell when he was complaining that it was hard to play wearing one of these masks. Shout out King Chubb, though. Goal bonus killed him as well. Not 1 goal scorer. Join the club, mate. Jeff, morning. Plans haven't gone to plan yet. Good luck for the rest of the tournament. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, I'm thinking, good luck to you as well. But like, my team didn't do well this week. Didn't go to plan. But like, you spend all this time researching and putting your team together. Just had a bad week this week. Nothing to say that these players aren't going to do well next week. These players, just because they've done badly this week, didn't become terrible overnight. So trust your picks, trust your research. Is Vidma nailed? Is he the Switzerland guy? Me having to look up who he plays for, though, isn't a good start to know if he's to give an opinion on whether he's nailed. 2.5 million, Switzerland. Only played 68 minutes. Got a yellow card. I'm not sure. Mate. Sorry. Maybe who scored. We'll give you a team preview on that one. But yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Sorry. Adam Towson, do you get a different booster every week, or can you only use them once? You can only use each booster once, and you can only play one booster at a time. So yeah, you can only play one this game week. Niall Griffiths, Modric. I didn't think he looked that good in that last fixture. I know this is a really good one against Albania. He probably will run the show. But then you'll have to think that he's got Italy in the game after that as well. Gone a little bit off the idea of Modric, I think. Didn't take the penalty either, did he? I don't know if he's still on the pitch at that point, but they had a penalty and he didn't take it. Morning, Nathan. Verts or Musiala? I'm going Musiala, but I feel like it's very close. And we spoke about captaincy as well, so I'll pass on that one now. I'm gonna have to close it off soon. I need to be off by 9. Really, I'll chuck a few more in, but grateful for the questions. Let's not forget the likes of Havertz, Kane, etc. have less chance of starting the last group game if they've already won the groups. Yep, we covered it a little bit. Havertz, especially because they've got such good options. Kane, just don't see him being rotated, even though we're through. Probably want the golden boot and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, maybe. Would you move Fernandes to Bellingham if you could? Yeah, I don't want to use a transfer on it, and they've got Turkey, but do I wish I'd started with Bellingham ahead of Bruno Fernandes now? Yeah, then yeah, if I knew he wasn't taking set pieces and watching sort of how he played, yeah, I think I'd rather have Bellingham if I could do it. Goal boost, game week 2, covered. Thoughts on Havertz? I do like him. I just think that Musiala and Verts could probably do just as well. And then there's some really good big hitters. Sell Bruno for Bellingham, just covered it. I would prefer Bellingham, but I've got Bruno now, so I'm not going to mess about. He's still decent. Morning, mate. Have you considered Hranak? 1.5 million Czech Republic. 2 decent fixtures coming up. Reasonably solid defense. Cheap as chips. Is he a defender? Let's have a look. Oh, 1.5. 1.5. It's a decent price. I can't say I know anything about him, though, to be fair. So far at 2, I guess. We know a bit. Well, I know a bit more about him, so I'd feel a bit more comfortable with him. But yeah, could work out. You get what you pay for sometimes, don't you? Though, so fixtures look all right. Covered Modric. Morning, Carl. Mbappe to Lukaku. Yeah, I'd get if I didn't have Lukaku, I'd get him. And would I double England backline? Yeah, I said that I quite like the look of Trent and Gahey potentially. Obviously, because I probably wouldn't do 2 England centre backs, but the fact that Trent is an attacker, don't mind Trent and Gahey as a sort of pair. But just the thought of that clean sheet wipeout, I hate it. But I do think Trent starts. I know people arguing in the chat whether or not he starts or not. Don't think it's worth swapping Germany mids. Whichever one you have, stick with. Add them if you can, but don't swap around. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I think Musiala's a better pick than Gundogan. I've got Gundogan. I wouldn't swap Gundogan to Musiala, but I do like the double up of having both. So I might end up having Gundogan and Musiala. What would you do with Lunin? Unless, I mean, if you've got transfers and you're not sure what to do with him, I would probably sell him for Dubravka. I'm a little bit worried that he doesn't carry on. It would be ruthless, but the other keeper is apparently quite good as well. But goalkeeper isn't a priority move if you have big problems elsewhere. Mbappe to Ronaldo, Chanaloglu to Musiala, captain Lukaku. Yeah, looks fine. FPL man, morning. Fellow goal booster user in MD1. Are you thinking of using another booster in Matchday 2? Yeah, like I said, initially I was thinking 12th man, but with Mbappe out, maybe max captain, but I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate to use one. Foz, do I keep the Kuiper, even though he didn't play? Can't really afford anyone else unless there's a better 2.5 million. It was the Bast. It means going to another Belgium defender, and they're all right at the back. The Bast 2.5. I don't know whether he definitely does start again. Sofal 2 million. 2.5. I mean, you could go Ukraine, but I think a lot of people will be put off by the 3-0. Yusuf, 66 points. Feeling sad because you captain Bruno. What's a good score? Honestly, I know you're saying it's your debut in this fantasy format, but the rules have changed so much since the last. Like the point scoring's changed, and we've got boosters in the mix. Honestly, I'm not even sure what's a good score at the minute. So just all chuck your points in the chat, and we'll get an idea of what's a good one. JC scored 81, which seems pretty good to me. Right, almost at the end, 9 o'clock. Andre A thinks that max cap is a good shout. Too many good options this week. Can't risk it over bad goal boost. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Hussein's asking what's the best booster strategy? Are you better off saving it to the end? But the way I see it is the game. I feel like the games are going to be tight towards the end. Probably a lot of low scoring games, good teams playing each other. So I kind of still fancy using them earlier the better, I think. Doku or Gundogan, I still think Doku. I know he fluffed a few chances, but I still think he's brilliant on this format. Look really good. Rice face and Mbappe. Rice, Voutface, and Mbappe out. Havertz, Bellingham, and Skriniar in. Yeah, I think that looks fine. Definitely like the Bellingham and Havertz moves. Skriniar, who's he got? Ukraine and Romania. Yeah, 2.5. That could help Foz out. There you go. Foz, you wanted a 2.5 defender. Copy JC. Skriniar. Big Rog, if you could afford any defender in the game, who are a couple you're looking at? Got Cancelo, Gahey, and I mean Trent. I think Trent still looks decent. Theo Hernandez at France, like he did well, and seems to be someone that would score well, quite attacking. It's just that Netherlands fixture that's a bit off-putting. Matt Brown, 35 points and used goal boost. Sorry, Matt. I think you're one of the only people it looks like they've done worse than me this week. Sorry about that. And then last one, who would you Cosmo FPS? Who would you captain? Musiala, Wirtz, or Havertz for GD1? You've missed GD1. Matchday 2, do you mean? I'd probably go Musiala. And S, last one, got 70 points with his goal boost. That's it, everyone. I need to wrap up for 9. So cheers, everyone, for watching. If you're watching this later as well, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And if we've still got a few hours before the deadline, so if you need a bit of more help, this is just my opinion, but we've got some good opinions over at the Dream Team Tonic podcast. We've got Tony and Ben there, seasoned veterans of the game, with some good tips and advice for us. So head over to Dream Team Tonic podcast. That latest episode is out for everyone. I'll try and leave a link in the description below, but just search Dream Team Tonic on YouTube, go over there, subscribe, watch the latest video. because we've still got a little bit of time before the deadline. So cheers everyone for watching, and I'll see you for the next episode, which will just be a quick recap of all the top point scorers from today's game, key talking points, and then we'll build up to doing a similar thing ahead of match day 3. Cheers, goodbye.